Hey everybody, Valor here again with another video for Mandragora. This time kind of showing off I think they call it the Wyldwarden. I just call it the Druid. It's kind of the Druid class of this game. I'm still pretty early on in the game, but I've done a lot of theory crafting, kind of looking over some of these nodes and kind of getting a plan for kind of how this will go. So far, I'm level 26. The game's been going really smooth, honestly. This playthrough is just, honestly, like after playing Flame Weaver, where Flame Weaver feels a little bit weaker earlier on, and it definitely picks up later, I'd say Wyldwarden's the opposite. Well, it's hard to say if it's weaker later, but I'd say early on, this class is just kind of ridiculous. It's actually kind of absurd how much damage you deal. Like I'm just breezing through this no problem whatsoever, just kind of murdering everything, and it's kind of thanks to a couple of key things. First of all, the starting spells, you pretty much start off with both of these. They're both very solid. I use both of these a lot, just the lightning and the thorns. They're both hit really pretty hard, and they synergize really well with some of these nodes. So let me just go over some of these key things here that are kind of crazy. I'd say starting off, you just want to beeline straight over here to Sic Em. Two reasons. One, this thing actually just does a ton of damage. Whenever it procs, and it procs quite a bit, it does a nice little burst of damage. But the added benefit to this is that it's also building up your spirit. So over time, every time you proc this, you gain 0.05 percent, or not percent, but just 0.5 towards your spirit. That starts to add up a lot. As you can see, at level 25, I'm already at 34 spirit. That's quite a bit, and that's really scaling my damage. So this thing's honestly just crazy. It procs fairly often and does a lot of damage. I'll actually just show you right here as I'm just attacking. See, there's a proc. Building it up. Even with when you're doing normal attacks, it'll proc sometimes. I do this, do some more lightning. There's another proc. There's another proc, 2 in a row. So as you can see, every time it's procking, it's not only giving me some spirit permanently, but it's also just doing some good damage. So as you're attacking with it, so this thing right here is probably honestly why the Warden feels so strong in the early game. And I don't know if you've noticed, but here's a funny little thing about this is, look at this, 15.3, right? So you can kind of abuse this. It actually works when attacking the dummy here. So I can just sit here and attack the dummy for a little while, and look at that. I'm actually stacking my bonus by just sitting here attacking the dummy, which is crazy because it actually takes a while to if you're just fighting enemies, right? Normally you're gonna be it's gonna take a little while to stack this up, but you can kind of just abuse this little cheese, if you will. Just sit here and proc it. So moving on from there, I know I spent a while on this node, but this node's honestly just broken. It's just kind of so strong. Just take it first, and then from there I would path up here and grab what I also think is the next one of the most broken keystones in the game. This thing doesn't sound crazy when you look at the low percentages, right? But the thing is, it stacks, and it stacks infinitely, more or less, right? It does fall off after 5 seconds, but if you can tell, like I'm sitting here attacking with my sword, you can see the little stacks getting up there on the bottom left. We're at 8, 9 stacks. So with this attack speed, like I'm not gonna stack it too high, but as you can tell, look at that, my mana is regenning. My health would be regenning if I was missing any health. So that honestly adds up a lot as you're exploring. But the crazier thing here is when you use it with spells. So like a lot of these spells, like that spell hit 3 times, and if there's more enemies, it'd be hitting more times. And the lightning, honestly, look at this. This thing's just stacking so fast. It's getting to the point where it's like it's gonna stack all the way up to 33, and that's about where it caps out. This thing is stacked so high. I'm getting so much mana regen back that I'm like, look at how slow my mana is going down while casting this. This thing becomes almost free to cast, And look at that, as soon as I stop attacking, the stacks are just like making my mana jump back up. So I have yet to actually use a mana potion. I just run around, I just spam my lightning and my thorns. I'll throw in a few basic attacks here and there, but this single talent, even this earlier in the game, is keeping me pretty much topped off as I'm exploring. Which is crazy when you realize that it's percent based, which means it's only going to become more powerful as my health and mana pool gets bigger. So this is honestly just broken. It's going to keep you constantly topped off on health and mana. Just, you know, it's just free. You can just keep using it. So from here, this is where I would start to branch out, and I did come over here to energy attunement, but I actually think this is not worth going for, simply because I found that I'm not actually attacking that much with my weapons. And even if I do, all it does is make your next cast free, and with this, you're getting so much mana back that you really don't need this, and it's really not coming into play. So I would just skip this one entirely. This one over here is actually pretty good if you're alternating between lightning spells and your, like, I guess your non-lightning spells. Then you'll get some little procs over here, so it's worth picking up. But the ones I would really kind of try to go for is these ones up here. This is where I'm headed to kind of grab this. I think this one's pretty crazy. A 5% chance to double the damage of my lightning spells, or for non-lightning spells you get a heal. I think that'll be even crazier because you stack some heals with this, you stack some heals with this, you come over here, stack healing with this, and you can see where this is going. It's a lot of healing that's going to add up over time. And from here, my plan is to kind of come down here, grab this, because this is just more mana, reduced mana costs. But the big one here is, in case you didn't know this, these little lines on this side and this side of the tree, it actually lets you go over, and you can path from this side of the tree over to this. So I'm going to come up here, path over here, and I want to hit some of these ones over here on this side, just for some of these bonuses. So this increases my healing. This will increase the healing by 10%, which is great because it's going to multiply with the healing from this, the healing from this, the healing from this, and yeah, it should be some pretty insane healing that stacks on top of each other. Plus, these are just more spirit nodes as you're grabbing, which I didn't mention before, but whenever you hit these offensive nodes, take spirit. Like, that's the thing we want to stack, because not only is it going to stack with the damage on any spirit weapon you find, it's going to increase the damage of your spells. And honestly, because of how much mana regen we get, I'm just always spamming spells. I almost hardly ever use my weapon. Just keep pathing over. This is pretty cool. I mean, you're going to have pretty high spirit by the end, so this will probably be a nice little extra, who knows, maybe 150 to 200 health. I bet, you know, we can easily get up to 50, 60 spirit, so that's not bad for one skill point. But this is the big one right here. This is actually pretty solid because, again, it's a percent multiplier. So you're going to get just either 10% increased damage across the board or 10% damage reduction. Both are great, and you're really not, it really doesn't cost anything to get over here, right? Especially since I looked at, like, with the Flame Weaver, I did a lot of multi-classing between, like, the Chaos tree and the Flame Weaver tree and the Warrior tree. The Druid tree or Wyldwarden tree, I feel like it's really solid across the board. I'm looking at all these nodes, and I'm kind of planning on trying to hit most of these nodes. The ones that I would say you could probably skip, depending on your playstyle, and this is going to come up a little, be a little bit up to you, is things like Energy Attunement. I think is probably an easy one to skip. You're not going to get much value out of it. Wild Echo, it could be good, and I don't really end up using my Relic Charge a whole lot. It doesn't do any damage, but it does apply a root instantly, and it does tend to do a lot of stagger, which is pretty good. So having it repeat itself might actually be pretty solid. I'll probably try it out and see how I feel about it. This one right here, while it is really good, stacking up those stacks and then discharging them whenever you cast a spell, again, I'm not attacking a whole lot with my weapon, at least not at this point in the game, and I'm pretty early. and I feel like it'll just get easier and easier to just keep stacking spell damage. So I might not really end up taking this one. However, this one I think is worth it, because even though it is for weapon attacks, it's the way it works is it's for 2 weapon attacks, and you just get a nice little buff, and all you have to do is cast 2 spells, which we're doing, right? We're spamming spells, and then the next 2 attacks are going to do a nice little burst of damage. So I actually think this one's really good, because you just weave in 1 or 2 attacks here and there in between your spells, and you're going to be getting a lot of value out of this. Also, it's kind of on your way if you're pathing over here. This is another one where it's like it requires you using your weapon attacks. I plan to try it out, see how I feel about it, but again, I don't see myself really using weapon attacks a whole lot. But it's on our way. We're headed over here, and we're trying to grab this one. And this was definitely one I think we want, because it's going to boost our armor, physical crit, and magical crit. And the big one really is the magical crit. You really want to stack as much magical crit chance as possible, which is why all these nodes right here, when you take them, I recommend just taking magical crit chance, because you can get damage other ways, but the damage really doesn't even like do much, and if you don't have enough crit chance. So I'd say with all of these nodes, once you get there kind of later in the game, take the crit chance. But yeah, and then you can path over here, and some of these are maybe not as crazy. I think I definitely will probably want to take this. Root chance. The root chance doesn't actually seem to really matter a whole lot. Rooting an enemy in place is sometimes nice, but it doesn't really do a whole lot, because they still will attack you if you get close. I will say though, if you pick up this, then root chance does matter a little more. But again, I'm probably not even going to hit these until kind of later on in the game, just because I feel like these things up here and over here are just going to be more of a priority. So by the end of the game, yeah, I might come over here and grab some of this stuff over here, but definitely my priority is going to be more these things, these keystones over here. Also, I do want to point out that around level 20, you want to maybe save your points, right? So the first few levels, grab this, and honestly, like, that's all you really need to get going. Once you have these 2 keystones, I would save at least 5 points for this, because once you hit level 25, I think this is going to be pretty well worth it, because an extra 10% multiplier on your health pool, I think will add up, especially since you're factoring in the fact that like you get a lot of % health healing. So having a bigger health pool actually means bigger heals, as well as just more survivability. So on top of this whole build being pretty strong damage wise, I think it's going to end up having a really high health pool and being fairly tanky with a lot of regen. So I think this one's worth it, but that's up to you. I'd say if you're going to get this, get it early, as early as possible, and that's why I'm saying save up those 25, or save up 5 points around level 20, so that as soon as you hit 25 you can grab it. As you can see, I didn't do that, but I would recommend that, because the earlier you get this, the sooner you're gonna get value out of it, because you actually have to get kills to start stacking this. So this one's, the mileage may vary, I'm not sure about this one, but it's just something to go for. But definitely just try out these different things. As far as the spells are concerned, obviously I just have access to these 3, but I'm looking at the upgrades, and they all look really solid to me. Like Forked Lightning, like this is just a stacking damage increase, and this will just add mana, so this will pretty much make this skill, like even at this point without that, this skill is like almost free to cast because of the stacks of the regeneration that I get, right? If I was getting mana back on this, this would literally be free to cast. In fact, I might even be gaining mana while using this. So I'll be honest, this may straight up just replace my light attack at some point later on in the game. The Ball of Lightning honestly is pretty solid too. You can cast it really fast, and while it's not that impressive earlier on because it just does one little electrocution, later on you can get this upgrade that makes it so that it's continuously damaging enemies around it. So these will probably start stacking damage really fast as well. Because yeah, it'll just like, it'll electrocute them, it'll do damage when it makes contact, so this might actually end up being a really strong skill as well. The Wild Vines, I do like it. It's not as high of a damage spell. I think there's going to be a theme among these spells in that these non-lightning spells are more like utility. Like this one right here is kind of cool. Like if I hit them with it, it makes my lightning spells do more damage. So I definitely could see myself taking that upgrade and just like, you know, you throw out this, get a little buff, and now all the rest of your lightning spells do more damage. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'll have to play around with them a little bit, but I can already tell these first few lightning spells, or you know, they just look like they're going to be very strong. As far as gear is concerned, obviously just stick to anything that gives you for weapons. Just gives you some spirit scaling, where our spirit's just going to be incredibly high. And like, look at this. This thing's already hitting for 173. Like, that's just kind of crazy. Put whatever gem on it that increases magic damage. And this is honestly, like, this sword is like found so early in the game, so you really can't go wrong. As far as gear goes, you also get some really good gear earlier on. The helmet, this briar headband, this is like literally the first thing you can craft. It gives you 7% magical crit chance, and same with the gloves. Here's another 5%. That's 12% magical crit chance and 25% crit damage. I don't even know if there is other gear later on that's as good as this. So you honestly might just be using these two things for the entire game. However, the armor you can kind of upgrade. At first I was using this, but then I upgraded this because it gave me a little bit more spirit, a little bit more armor. So you'll be upgrading your armor and your legs as you go throughout the game. Just try to stay, you know, below the 100% equip load. As far as cape is concerned, you know, honestly, just anything that kind of gives you maybe some mana, like healing effectiveness would be good, mana cost reduction. I'll probably end up putting on the cape that gives you the 15% move speed because I just like moving fast. For rings, you really just want the magic crit chance. That's going to be like key. You just want to stack magic crit chance as much as possible because, again, when you can just permanently just be casting these spells for free, you're just going to get so much damage. So yeah, that pretty much does it for the early build. I do plan to kind of come back and update this build a little bit as I get further into the game. So far it's just been like destroying, and I'll actually show a couple of boss fights here at the end of this video just to show you just like honestly just how easy this build is. After playing Flame Weaver, where I was playing like more like of a melee play style, which it was good. The Flame Weaver was good. It felt, you know, decent early on, and it definitely picked up at the end of the game. I'm feeling like this build is just like, honestly, it just destroys the Flame Weaver, at least for the early game. Between Sic Em and regeneration, it's honestly just kind of disgusting how like strong I feel with all the regen and just being able to just like spam my spells. So honestly, this druid might just be the strongest class. Now I haven't played them all, but I mean it's already, I can just tell just how strong it is. So yeah, let me just show you a couple of boss fights, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like this, you know, feel free to put some comments. Let me know if there's like a different class you want me to try to cover. I've kind of looked at all through the different classes. You know, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how the game works. I've obviously beaten the game already once, so this is my second time playing through. So yeah, let me know in the comments if there's anything, you know, any questions you have, and I'd be really happy to discuss. Thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy the boss fights.
my life work.
I think I'll take this.